Okay, last time we ended off discussing Shechianu in Siman Reish Samach Gimel, and we are in Sif Hey. Today we are going to be covering some of the Bear Halachas, which we haven't learned already. Two Bear Halachas in particular. The Bear Halacha over here says V'im Nestapka. This means like this. Let's say if a woman has a doubt. We don't need this side. We just need the bare halachas. Let's say if a woman has a doubt, im nestapka, im beracha or lo. Let's say a woman isn't sure if she said the bracha lahadlik ne'er shel Shabbos or not. She's not sure what her story is. What's the halacha? Ein sricha levarich. She doesn't need to go back and make another bracha lahadlik ne'er shel Shabbos. Well, one reason that she doesn't need to go back is the suffix brachos lahaka. We have a halacha, which is if you have a doubt on a bracha, you should be lenient on it and not go back. If you're unsure if you said a bracha or not, you should not go back and say that bracha. That's called suffix brachos lahaka. It's also suffix derabanan lahaka, something that is rabbinic. We are lenient on, and we have the opposite side of the coin, suffix daraisa lahachmir, on a doubt on something that is an obligation from the Torah, we're stringent. So this is why if she's not sure if she recited the bracha or not, she does not need to go back. Reason two why she doesn't need to go back for Ode, Desirka Nokta V'Asya. This is straight out of the Gemara in Brachos, straight out of Hilchos Kriya Shema in Siman Samach Daled. What this means is V'Ode. Furthermore, Sirka, what a person regularly does, not to conclude V'Asya and continue going. In other words, we assume she usually says the brachas, and therefore we assume that since she usually said the brachas, therefore she is that she actually said the brachas. That's what we're assuming. So those are two reasons why we could assume that she said the bracha. Now, the question is v'im yada bevadai shelo bercha. If she knows for sure that she didn't say the bracha, mashma me'elia rabba the yesh lahakel levarech kol zman shehu shas heter lahadlik. It's implied from the Eli Rabba that one could be lenient to make the bracha the entire time that it's permissible to light. Now, this is a tremendous insight over here, based on the only one Mishnah Berurah that we skipped on the Siman, the long one, Siman Sif Chaf Aleph over here, Os Chaf Aleph, Sif Nun Chaf Aleph over there. This is a tremendous insight that a lot of people, if they learn this Ber Halacha, might overlook this nuance, and therefore I want to just give a little introduction over here and specify it and bring out this point. If she knows for sure that she doesn't make the bracha, it's implied from Ali Rabba, she could be lenient. The yesh lahakalavar kolzman shushas heter lahabak the entire time when you're allowed to light. Like the Magen Avram in Sivkot Nidalf, who says b'diavad post facto he relies on the maharash. Achimum zman iser pilagol maharash. If it's already prohibited time, you can't. What this means in English is, according to the Ber Halacha, based on what's implied from the Aliyah Rabbah, going like the Magen Avram, who's relying b'diavad on the Maharash. Yes, that sounds a little tricky with all the four names. But according to this, you could say the bracha of Lahabik Ner Shabbos, even if it was already lit previously, assuming that it was lit for the sake of Shabbos, as we learned in the previous Sif. So, what this means is, and by the way, you know who makes this point? The Dirshu makes this point. The Dirshu says, commenting on this Ber Halach over here, the Dirshu comes along and says, even though the Mishnah Berurah and Chaf Aleph says that the Achronim, they wonder, how could you say a bracha of lahadlik ner on a candle that is on a candle that's lit? It's implied from over here that you could do it, b'diavad, at least after the fact. And the reason is the Shalos and Shuvas Divrei Malchil explains, this is quoted in the Dershim footnote 38 on this Ber Halacha. The Divrei Malchil and Chilik Daled Siman Hey explains that even though that the main bracha is established on the lighting itself, but nevertheless, since the reason of the mitzvah is that the house won't be dark, the mitzvah will continue on the lighting the entire time that the candle is lit, and it's possible that b'diavad after the fact, you could even make a bracha. Now, this is hard to appreciate before we learn that Mishnah Brura in Chav Aleph, but that Mishnah Brura in Chav Aleph, in short, what it says over there is that this halacha wasn't so clear if this is true or not. So we see from this beracha that it would work. That's what we see over there. So, anyways, that's basically what we see from this beracha, and we'll appreciate this insight more when we learn that Mishnah Brura in Chaf Aleph. We'll appreciate it a lot more. So this is this ber halacha and a tremendous insight. The Oz V'Hada Mishnah Brura actually adds to this. It says like this. If you're not sure if you made the bracha on halakas neiros or not, you need to make the bracha because of safek brachos lahakel. Doubt on a bracha, you go lenient. Let's go straight to that footnote. Klaimer, meaning to say, any doubt that you have regarding a bracha, we say if you're not sure if you said a bracha, better not to do it. Because the saying brachas are only midrabanan, the rabbinic in nature, and therefore you should be lenient with the doubt on a bracha. The Beis Yosef also says this idea in Siman Samach Zayin. Siman Samach Zayin is a very important siman when it comes to doubts. That's talking about if you're not sure if you said Shema or not. You're not sure if you said the brachas of Shema or not. You're not sure if you just said one of them or if you didn't say all of them. That's what that siman discusses over there. The Rabbeinu Manoach also says you go on a doubt because if you say a bracha in vain, that could be violating loisisa, which is a Torah prohibition. And if you have a doubt on a Torah prohibition, you should be stringent and not do it. And therefore, you shouldn't make a bracha because of this doubt situation over here. That's explaining reason one. Hoshev Shmaisav, that concept is only Darabanan, Daraisa, Sophia, all right, whatever. Furthermore, Sirka Noktav, so they just translate that. Since you're regular to make the bracha after hadlaka, after you light, we assume that you did what you usually do, aka that you made the bracha in the proper place. Nachla Shiva says, if you lit candles at a time when you're allowed to light candles, we just assume the best. We assume that you did what you already used to, because why would you divert from what you typically do? Why would you alter what you typically do? That's what you always do. And guess what? What's the worst comes to worst if you didn't say the bracha? You still fulfill the mitzvah. Bracha has nothing to do with the actual mitzvah. So you're good either way. However, if you lit when it was still day, it was too early, we're assuming that you didn't say the bracha, and then you need to go back.
Unless you accepted Shabbos early on the gathering.
Well, when it's still day means before Plag Mincha, and you can't accept it
Oh, is that
early.
what it means? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. If it was after Plag, we assume you assume you're good. You don't need to go back in. This is halacha safek brachos. This is a nice quick halacha. Halacha you could just share with anyone. You're not sure, did you do it or not? Is the halacha finished? This is similar to someone who recited Shema. He knows that he said Shema. He's just not sure if he said the second paragraph of Shema Vayam Shema. Now he's by Laman Yirbu. We say no. Since you started saying Laman Yirbu, that's what you usually do. We assume that's what you're up to. You don't need to go back to now earlier in Shema because it's tricky because you have the same text in Shema twice, parts of it. As is discussed in Siman Samach Dalet as well as Samach Dalet is really the place, but also Samach Science, Feikos get discussed over there. Doubts. Same applies over here as well. However, if you know for sure that you didn't say the bracha, and now you want to make the bracha, it's implied from the Aliyah Rabbah, you could be lenient as long as it's a time when you're allowed to light. AKA, if it's before sunset, you could still say the bracha.
Sunset.
Sunset, Shkia.
So don't we
Kol's man shelo hagiya da'izman bein hashmashos.
is there a different sheet than when Berash Moshe says, according to who?
Yeah, okay. That's Siman Reish Samach Aleph. We skipped that Siman. Okay, we'll have to. So, uh, question is, does this apply with the 18 minutes or not? Anyways, close the door, close the door. Anyways, thanks. So the Magen Avraham says you could rely b'di'evet on the Maharash. Maharash says it's permissible to light when it's still day and make the bracha even when it's night. And we're going to be learning a lot more about this, about lighting when it's still day and making the bracha when it's night. We're going to actually see. I'll just pose the question now. This is going to be more of tomorrow's session that we're going to be covering actually. I mean, we already see b'di'evet how we go, but is the bracha of is the mitzvah of Shabbos candles similar to tzitzis and tefillin, where as long as it's still on you, you're kind of still fulfilling the mitzvah, and therefore you could say the bracha? Or is it more similar to a mitzvah that you already did once and now it's over, so you can't say the mitzvah anymore? Potentially, for example, shechita, when you slaughter an animal, you can't say the bracha after. Perhaps you can't say it after. There's actually different opinions about that. So yeah, so we're going to be learning about that topic. That's actually an interesting topic. That's first simon in your day. It's a very enjoyable simon, even if someone's not going to become a shochet, just to learn about is it's a very interesting topic that only a select few individuals really end up learning about. Anyways, so yeah, so this is the bear halacha, but if it's zman isser, the bear halacha said, meaning it already reached the time of bein hashmash, is already after shkia, it's after sunset. So then he would say that you cannot make the bracha. You cannot make the bracha over there. So that would be the difference between the two, and that will be the first ber halacha. Any questions on this ber halacha before we proceed to the next one? Okay, going right into the next ber halacha in that case. The next one says, this one we already did, so we're not going to do it again. The next one says, Achad Lacha, look at the Mishnah Berurah on Chav Zayin. So just to remind ourselves of what it says over there. Intention over here is the Shulchan Aruch said. Oh, sorry. The intention of that Mishnah Berurah is, why do we make the bracha after we light? We usually do it before, because at the time when we say the bracha, it's considered as if we accepted Shabbos upon ourselves, and then we would no longer be able to light. So therefore, what women do rather, we'll see about that now, what who does, is light the candles. Go like this. So it's like we're not looking at the candles. Say the bracha, then move the hands, and it's considered as if the bracha was said before the candles were lit. It's still considered like we said the bracha before we performed the mitzvah, over Las Yasa, as it's called. Says the Be'er Halacha. Very important idea, which we already know this idea because I basically blurted it out. Isha Shemasnes in previous sessions. If a woman makes a condition, a Tanai, She'ena Mekabela Shabbos Balbaka, that she is not going to accept Shabbos upon herself when she lights. Now, this should only be done in a pressing situation, as we will learn about more in Mitzvah Hashem. Nevertheless, she makes a condition saying that she's not going to accept Shabbos upon herself. Oh, Ish, or let's say you have a male, the Kaiman on the Kaiman, the In Sarach Lahasnos. Let's say you have a male, in which case we hold that you don't need to make a condition. A male does not need to make a condition
Candle.
when he lights candles. It's assumed if we ever light candles that we are not accepting Shabbos upon ourselves. And we're going to have to learn about that more, why there's a difference between a man or a female. But nevertheless, they're in the same boat over here. She's not accepting Shabbos upon herself when she lights in this unique, exceptional scenario. An exception. The man also is not. Excuse me. It's mashma, it's implied from the Derech Chaim. Dafilu hochi yadliko v'yifrusu yedayim v'acharach yivarchu mishum lo plug l'das ha'magen avraham. It's implied from the Derech Chaim that even so, they should light candles. Whoever's lighting should light, spread the hands over like we just saw before, and then afterwards recite the bracha because of lo plug. The rabbis didn't differentiate. When the rabbis said this halacha about lighting the candles, they said it in all situations. This is how you light candles, no matter what. Aval, what does aval mean?
uh, we're going like the other opinion.
Right. Aval, but we hold this way. Midivrei Hagon Rabbi Akiva Eiger bechidushav midivrei Achayodem muchoch tibazeh yavarch v'achi acheliko. From Rabbi Akiva Eiger and from the Chayodim, it's proven that you say the bracha first and then after you light.
When you make it shy.
No, for a male or for a woman who's making a condition.
Okay.
Or. So I've lit candles in my life around 8 times or so, something like that, 10 times, whatever the number is. There was no one there, no women there. My mother went away before I was married. My wife went away. No one else was on. Whatever it was. And I lit. It was away. It was just guys. Shabbos. And this is what I did. I said the bracha and then I said the Havik Ner Shel Shabbos. Never was. Ofruf. You stay by friends that are guys. Whatever the case is. You go away, vacation, whatever. A guy just doing this, it just feels weird. It's a woman's mitzvah, you know. It's a women's thing to do the whole thing. It's funny. I don't know where. So far, we didn't see where this thing comes from. You see them doing this. Why don't they just go like this?
And we also saw
Why do they do this first?
we
Just
also
go
saw the
like this.
lesson that you block the light as opposed to doing the eye.
Yeah, but we did see also brought down that you could
No,
block.
100% we saw
We did.
both.
Yeah. Okay. It's like that also by Kriya Shema. It says by Shema and Siman Samach Aleph. It says when you say Shema, cover your face. Doesn't say your eyes. Oh, they bring down eyes. I've seen people covering their face, by the way, which is
They
interesting.
go like that, you see?
Yeah, that's what it says in Shulchan Aruch, if I'm not mistaken, in Samach. It's brought down. It's brought down. Um. Anyways, this is the Ber Halacha. Yeah. So the Derech Chaim still says it's low plug. Kishem shekisheina masne mebirchos lachar hadlaka kach gam kishemasne tivarech lachar hadlaka. Just like she's not making a condition to do the bracha after she lights, so too. Kach gam kishemasne tivarech lachar hadlaka. Oh, just like if she's not making a condition, she would say the bracha after she lights. So too, if she is making a condition, she would make the bracha after she lights, like the Magen Avraham said regarding Yom Tov. Even though it's permissible for her to light after the bracha, nevertheless, potentially, as we learned the Magen Avraham inside, it's low plug. This is what they said to do. That's what we learned a couple sessions ago at length. However, the Rabbi Akiva Eiger and the Chayodim, they say that no. Say the bracha first, and they would. This is the shitasim. They would go according to their opinion, and that's why on Yom Tov as well, a woman should. It would probably be the same thing. She would first just say the bracha and then light on Yom Tov, as we learned. Same exact idea. In the footnote over here in Reisha Test, it's better to make the bracha before you light. Because it's just like any other mitzvah, where the bracha precedes the actual mitzvah. I just want to share something. I don't have it here, but I looked at it yesterday. Maybe I could pull it up on the screen a little bit now that I'm thinking. But the Dershu quotes about the topic that we were discussing yesterday about women saying Shechianu on Yom Tov and everything. And the way that they're quoting different rabbis, many of which you already saw, who say that there's a custom already to say Shechianu on Yom Tov. The Piskei Chuvas, I could try to fish for it over here. Fish for it, get it? That's what we were learning about before in Parsha. But I could try to find it over here. He also says a similar language like that. But look, at the end of the day, I think that based on what we learned, the claims and the questions are better than the answers, and it's better not to do it. But at the double end of the day, though, the Shelis Yabetz, who was the most against the Shechianu being said, because it's pointless on Yantif, because you're going to do it in Kiddush anyways, and it's an interruption. Uh, he couldn't even stop his own wives from doing it. So you have to keep that in mind. It's not here. I think he said something very short right over here. He says right over here. If you look at what he says, he talks about this very short. We blew up this whole topic. Kvarnes Pashed Haminag Levarach. The custom is already to make the bracha of Shechianu, as we discussed in Siman Tavkuf Yudalid Os Chaf Aleph. So it comes up in another place in Hilchos Yom Tov. However, a man who is lighting certainly should not say Shechianu when he lights. He should do it during Kiddush, which that was the Stipler also that we saw. Footnotes 162. Same thing, a woman who's making Kiddush herself. Let's say she's a widow or whatever it is. She's not married. She definitely should not say Shechianu when she lights as well. So look, at the end of the day, it was pretty harsh what we discussed, but it definitely warrants a conversation with the person's spouse in a mature way, in a peaceful way. I'm gonna bring it up to my wife. I'm gonna bring this up big time
About the Shechianu.
about the Shechianu, and just say, how far, is it a big deal for you? Maybe not to do it. It's really kind of, if she says no, this is what I want to do, I feel whatever, and this is the cut. Okay,
Back
fine,
off, yeah.
fine, yeah, back off. Furthermore, more of a reason to do it Rosh Hashanah, but fine. But and then the big thing, and we should just do Chazar from yesterday, is that during the Seder, she cannot say Shachianu
Right. We
when
said
she says Kiddush. How many times do women mess up with that?
now, what about the
I
women?
remember I told women before at the Seder, I said, do not say Shachianu again.
I'm guessing also the women by Yom Kippur who don't go to shul. Let's say you have little kids at home.
Yeah, Yom Kippur, so.
That she say
Go
it.
to shul.
Yeah, she should say Shachianu. Yom Kippur was a whole discussion if you even light to begin with. We do light, but
Right,
that was an interesting session that we had there. But anyways, okay, so Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow we're going to continue with this. If you want to get a head start on what we're going to do, we're going to look at the Mishnah Brew and Chaf Aleph. We're going to do a deep dive on that one Sivkot. Then it will probably take up the whole session. There's a tremendous amount of information on that. And then if we have more time, then we'll continue with all the notes that we didn't do in the Dershu and the like. So everyone should have a wonderful day. Guten Chodesh, and everyone should remember to have a lavish meal. Today is the main meal. Wash with bread, have a lavish meal. All expenses for Rosh Chodesh, whatever you expend, will get paid back. I already made sure. I took my kids out to a restaurant last night. I didn't sit there because it was just gonna be havoc. They were a little cranky with all four of them, and it was only me, but I took it to go. I asked my wife what she wanted. She was at work then, so when she came home, we have a lavish Suda. Again, we're gonna have a lavish Suda more than we're used to today, and today's the main day. Have a lavish Suda. You don't need to break the bank also. If you could order something, you get a lunch special. It could be a lunch special. You get the same thing. It's a quarter of the price. It's half off because it's a lunch special. Whatever you could do, get it. Eat it before sunset. That's the idea. Eat it before sunset. Today is the main Suda special mitzvah. Siman in Shulchan Aruch. Tough Yud Test as we discussed in the past. Everyone should have a wonderful day.
Yeshikaya. Thank you.
Good day. Sure.
Ah.